Welcome to Thursday. It's August 21st, 2025. Your Day Weather podcast brought to you by the Advocates Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured in an accident, don't face it alone. Get an experienced local Wyoming attorney on your side. Free consultations at wyomingadvocates.com or call 307-800-1952. You deserve an advocate. Well, changing weather conditions are coming, especially by tomorrow and the weekend over a lot of the West. Still going to be hot, though, in many areas. Maybe those hummingbirds knowing changes are coming as we are looking at another hot day before our cold front drops south out of Canada into the northern and central plains and the western edges get to the front range while there's a convergence of moisture consolidating over the Great Basin, the western slope, and parts of the southwest. So it does look like that's going to happen, as we've been discussing over the last week or so. Also, is there going to be a La Nina? There's some news reports and some other folks talking long-range forecasting that we're going to have a La Nina. I will address that confusion and why there's some confusion about that as we have some new data to pass along. Well, fairs are still going on, but before you know it, we'll be winding down. There's some fair action up in Rapid City. That subtropical moisture edging closer to western Wyoming yesterday as climbing the Grand Tetons, seeing the nice moisture coming on in and just beautiful cloud formations and virga there off in the distance. And that moisture showing up now in the mid-levels in Utah and all the way to the Carolina coast, the edges of Hurricane Erin. Great to see a shot all around the world, shots like this coming on in. Thanks, Rusty, for sending this photo in. Now, the waves this morning there on the Outer Banks are a bit bigger than when this photo was taken. Luckily, Erin going to be going out to sea here shortly. A little bit calmer in Colorado with a beautiful shot of Long's Peak and those rays coming through. The new water tower in Cheyenne getting its new artwork on, and sunrises and sunsets beautiful. Here's one from Sheridan, Wyoming. And the night skies, boy, August is a great time of year if you want to try astrophotography. A great shot of the moon and some planets there. And then this is also a great time of year, especially if you've got a nice new or digital camera that can do some long exposures, which is about all of them. Beautiful shot there of Dave Bell of the Milky Way. Look at that. Just gorgeous. Of the Milky Way above Pinedale, Wyoming. And this time of year, the nights are still warm, and with the moon already going through its full moon cycle earlier in the month, the rest of the month you're going to get some really, really dark skies in this part of the world. Some of the best viewing for that with the least amount of light pollution in many parts of the U.S. you're going to find in parts of Wyoming and Colorado and Utah and Montana, the region. This gives you an opportunity to catch a lot in the night sky, a lot there that you can find with a long exposure. A little bit of fog in the low-lying areas out in eastern Laramie County near Carpenter, Wyoming. The satellite photos this morning showing there's a lot more going on here than maybe it looks. Notice this little axis of moisture right here. This is going to increase relative humidities across the west, as we showed you yesterday. So we bottomed out with the lowest humidities yesterday. So that moisture is starting to come in, and you see this right here. This is the formation of the low that's forming up here in northwest areas of Alberta. And as this system gathers strength and heads southeast, it's going to be a big weather maker in terms of having a pretty big impact. Where you really see what's going on is the water vapor. There's the swirl. You see the counterclockwise rotation of the low up there in northwest Alberta. So we've got this low in Alberta. There's Erin off the Atlantic coast. Here's that axis of moisture that you can see on the visible satellite and the infrared satellite photos. This moisture flow, we talked about the moisture getting drawn all the way from the southern plains and then back around. So it's beginning. So what we're seeing is higher humidity air getting drawn westward, making a very, very long trend, very long track. It's also picking up moisture, subtropical moisture over Mexico, and we're seeing it increasing. So we've got this coming in, this moisture circling on in, and that's going to set the stage for kind of a unique setup as we go into the weekend and into early next week. So there's the low up in Canada. There's the high over the southwestern United States. This is where we are today. The thunderstorm risk today does increase. Could even have a couple of areas of a few stronger thunderstorms in northeastern Wyoming. up into the northern plains, then back into the southwestern United States. So this doesn't look like a lot, and it's not. But this is a little bit of an uptick in thunderstorm coverage today across the west compared to the last couple of days. And we're going to see some thunderstorms go into the night up here. So thunderstorms into the evening, overnight hours could occur up in northeastern Wyoming and parts of the Dakotas. So keep that in mind. So today is kind of the start where the moisture starts to get deeper. Tomorrow, the moisture gets better over Arizona, Utah, western Colorado, up here into southern Wyoming, out into the plains. As you can see, the moisture's coming around and moving on in. Now, at the same time, that cold front is advancing south. So tomorrow, with that cold front advancing south, more moisture coming in. You see this dark green area? I think this may be underplaying the severe weather threat a bit. We need to kind of watch this area tomorrow. I think tomorrow we could have some severe weather. Might have a yellow show up with tomorrow's update, as the thunderstorm risk, because of the cold front and the deepening moisture, could make for a little bit more action there. Then as we get into Saturday, the high goes back to just east of Las Vegas. There's that trough digging into the northern Great Lakes. Then follow the wind barbs. The winds aloft are coming in from the northwest here. The winds aloft are circulating around the high here, and things are getting converged in terms of where the moisture is going to be. So a lot of moving parts here. Kind of looks like a football play in terms of you go deep, you go here, you block here. Temperature-wise, by Friday midday, this is 3 p.m. Mountain Time on Friday, the colder air is spilling down the Front Range. You can see the cluster of cold up here in Canada. Still warm east of the Divide. And then if we just step through the temperatures Friday, this is Saturday, and this is Sunday. So you can see the colder air settling into the plains, heading south and east. The cool air goes upslope along the Front Range, and then we converge the moisture. So Saturday, the thunderstorms are going to be most widespread here, not as much out into the plains, although there's going to be more action right here than the model is showing, mainly because it just may be just plain rain and plain rain showers. But the thunderstorms here get going along and west of the Divide Saturday. And then look at Sunday. You see the axis kind of shifting more north. And then for Monday, you're going to see that moisture increase. So this is Saturday, Sunday, and into Monday. So along and west of the Divide, even back into Oregon, even back into California, deserts of California, even Las Vegas, you're going to see shower and thunderstorm activity as the moisture is trapped here. The thing I want to highlight for you folks who are really hoping for the rain west of the Continental Divide is this is a multi-day process. It's not going to happen in just 1 or 2 days. So if you miss rain one day, that doesn't mean you've missed it. You've got multiple days really from today through next Thursday or Friday where these thunderstorms are going to be around. So that moisture is trapped there, and it's just going to recycle. Daytime heating will get showers and thunderstorms going. So as we've been showing you, the models continue to be very proactive at bringing areas of moisture west of the Continental Divide. Boy, look at all of this rain here. It may be overdoing some of this, but this is quite a strong signal, and it's been there all week for New Mexico, parts of Arizona. Look at Colorado, but also getting out into the plains as well and into western Wyoming, the Wasatch, then back to Las Vegas and into the Pacific Northwest. The AI version of the European model is continuing to be very robust as well. Now, as I mentioned, this is not just one day. This model I've showing you is over a 2-week period. So it's cumulative, so keep that in mind. One interesting thing that's showing up on the AI version, you see this streak right here? The AI version of the European is predicting a tropical storm or depression off the coast of Mexico late next week, maybe wanting to move up into Southern California, Arizona. Will this happen? I don't know. We just got to watch it. But that's one interesting wrinkle that the normal European isn't seeing here. Now, other models are hinting at this as well, so we'll keep an eye on it. That could be something interesting if we do see that develop. Again, we don't know. If it does develop, it'll be late next week. The ensemble is, again, saying the same thing. So you can see the consistency throughout the days that we've shown you this. So our confidence is growing that west of the divide, you're going to get rained on. Again, it's going to be over a multi-day period. We're still looking at a post-Labor Day weekend cold front. I think we're going to get through Labor Day okay with no big cold fronts. That would ruin your Labor Day weekend, but we certainly do see something coming right after that. And I think that's likely going to happen right around or just after the 4th or 5th of September. La Nina. Are we going to have a La Nina? Some long-range forecasters are suggesting that we're going to have a La Nina winter. Will we have a La Nina, and will it affect us through the winter? The answer is yes and no. The newest prediction that just came out from the folks that track this continues to show that the sea surface temperature anomaly in the subtropical Pacific is going to get colder between now and early fall. You see the blue bars going up. The statistical probabilities of La Nina, represented by the blue bars, does go up this fall, but see the trend going down once we get in December, January, February, and March. The prediction for a neutral situation, which is part of our long-range forecast, shows that the chances decrease of neutral through fall, then go back up. So yes, the subtropics may go briefly to La Nina status, which means a half a degree Celsius or more in the subtropical Pacific between now and fall, but that trend reverses. And that's, the modeling is really showing that. You can see there's this upward trend as we get into the early part of 2026. So some folks may be saying we're going to have a La Nina, but if we do, it's brief. And the European model that I'm showing you here and other models are showing the same thing. Cold, see the blue go to white, blue goes to white. So the odds of us going into a full-fledged La Nina, and technically speaking, it's got to be 7 months of those temperatures reaching the threshold of 0.5 degrees Celsius or colder to be a La Nina. So it's going to be La Nina-like this fall, but fading by likely December, January, February, and into the spring. In fact, odds are more likely of maybe a weak El Nino forming by spring. So I don't think we're going to have that La Nina, even though there's some talk of it, and those sea surface temperature anomalies are a little bit colder right now. Have yourself a great Thursday. More for you tomorrow.